And thank you for attending our workshop today. I believe lots of you are probably still in the vacation mode because the Thanksgiving holiday just finished. I'm still in the vacation mode as well. So again, thank you for making your time for our workshop. And before we started, I want to briefly talk about my background and then the work I'm doing at the center so that you can know me a little bit better. So I worked in the marketing field for 6 years back in Taiwan, 3 years in the advertising agency, and then 3 years in branding. And at the center, I mainly work on social media, include Google Ads, content creation, and website analytics. And beside the center job, I currently am a grad school student in the MSBA program, which is business analytics. And next, let's talk about the workshop. So today's workshop is for those who want to learn SQL but haven't started. In other words, it's for beginner. Okay, so after today's workshop, you will be equipped with the basic idea of SQL. But of course, if you want to be the professional, you have to practice a lot. So in the end of this workshop, I will also share about some self-learning platform I have been using and even some AI tools. And those tools could boost your learning journey. So please stay in until the end to get those information. So let's dive into the objective of today's workshop. Here's the 5 learning outcomes. But first, does anyone know what is queries in SQL? If you know, show of hands. Okay. I saw 1 or 2 of you show up your hands. Okay, so let me explain about what is query. So query is the statement in SQL to retrieve the data. It's the most important part of SQL, and then I think that is the main purpose why you are here today. But before we start writing the query, I will teach you guys how to read the query. So once you are able to break down the queries, it will equip you with the ability of writing the query. Okay, so we will understand the structure first, then we start writing. So after you get the fundamental understanding of the SQL query or structure, I will go through the fundamental syntax with you and make sure you are able to write the basic query. And then except for the most basic syntax such as select or order by, those basic syntax, I will also cover joining and grouping function in SQL today. And then why we need to learn those functions, because joining and grouping is helpful for combining data and when you want to summarize the data. So it's very useful for when you want to do the report. And then the last one, after you understand the solid skills such as writing, query, or able to code, you will also need to equip the soft skill, which is being able to identify the key variables so that you will able to provide the fundamental data analysis. So these 5 objectives are what we will learn from today's workshop. The content today is abundant, so hope you guys will stay until the end and hope it will be helpful for you guys. And before we go further, I want to introduce some basic terminology in the data world. So first is data. I believe I don't need to explain too much on data. Data could be the text between you and your friend, or reviews from customers, or less phrase you search on Google. And usually data is messy and raw, right? But after we organize it, it becomes valuable, become a data set that contains valuable insight, okay? So I just mentioned database. So what is database? So database is a collection of organized data and then usually organized in tables, okay? And then next, what is RDBMS, which stands for Relational Database Management System. So it is a place to create, update, and manage relational database. Last is our main point today, SQL. SQL is short for Structured Query Language, and it is a programming language used to communicate with the RDBMS, the system. So you write down the query and then you will be able to retrieve those data from the database, okay? Next, I believe lots of you guys probably are not familiar with the workflow in the data science, and then you wonder which step you use SQL, and then you might heard of R or Python, those things. And then so I want to give you guys a whole picture of the data analysis procedure. So the one I show you now is a simple version of the data workflow. However, the analysis process could be different from project to project and depends on different company. They have different method. So not always require all the steps mentioned in this picture. But let's take a look at this picture. So the first step is data collecting, or you can say data gathering. The sources could be customer survey, reviews, or transaction records, or interaction on your website, etc. And sometimes the data you collect is clean, but sometimes it's messy. Okay. So the next step is to clean the data you just gather or you just collect. And then the file can be cleaned manually in Excel or R or Python. Okay, depends on what kind of file or depends on your habit and stuff. And then after you clean the data, once the data is clean, it needs to be loaded into the database so that you can run SQL query, and then perform the analysis and the visualization. And then the next step is data visualization. The next step is the data analysis. If you want to do something hypothesis testing or data mining, you can use R, Python, or even Excel to do those advanced job. And then for SQL, it's only used for retrieving the data. Okay, so the last step is if you want to communicate the finding effectively, you can use data visualization tools such as Power BI or Tableau to present your finding in a comprehensive format. Okay, so today we're going to focus on SQL. So it will be on the step 2. Okay, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the visualization part. Okay, I know the workflow still sounds not familiar, so I'm going to apply on a case study today. So the case study I'm going to present today is the customer churn prediction for a telecommunication company. So this company is facing an issue, which is customer losing issue. And the company wants to leverage SQL to identify and address the customer loss and be able to make a data-driven decision. So in this case study, I will use data science workflow to showcase how SQL plays a crucial role in the data preparation and analysis stage. So here are the 5 steps they could do. So remember, what is the first step? It's data collection, right? So the company collect large amount of data from customer, include calling records or customer demographics, subscription plans, and usage pattern, etc. And then it could be messy, so we have to clean the data, and then we have to evaluate the data to see if it's consistency and if it's you can use it or not. Okay, and then when you clean the data, you load it into the system, and then you can write the query to retrieve those data. And then the fourth one is, so like I said, SQL is help in data aggregation and pattern recognize. But if you want to explore more, or you want to do the data mining, the scientists work for this company. They can use R or Python to build a predictive model to identify the factor and to know what is the reason caused the customer loss. And the last is definitely the scientists want to present to their boss and then show them the inside of the data. So they will visualize the result. And in here, it could be the trend or customer segment or the predicted model result. And then we will show it in the comprehensive format. Okay, after you have the full picture of the data science, let's dive into SQL. So let's start with the 3 most basic clauses. The first is select clauses. In this clauses, we specify the column we want. And then the next is from clauses. We specify the table we want in the database. And then the third one is order by. And we can sort this row by the column we want, and it will order by alphabet. Okay, but my personally experience is I like to start from first because I like to think about which table I need. So I like to code from clause first. Okay, but it depends on yourself. You can when you be familiar with SQL, you will have your own way to do the code. Okay. And then next, let's look closely into the syntax. So as you can see, in the select clause, you put column name, the column you want. And then in the from clause, you put the table name. And then order by, you put the column name here. And then an important reminder, you always have to put a semicolon at the end of the query like this. Otherwise, it won't generate your code, okay? And then second, if you want to simply, if you want to select all the column in the table, you can just type star here. You don't have to type in every column's name, okay? So I know it sounds a little bit complex, so I prepare a simulation for you guys that you can practice, okay? I will put the link in the chat. So click on it. Okay. And then you will see the simulation like this. So this is the database already provide, and then I will explain to you guys the relationship between those tables. But now let's practice the basic syntax first. So let's say in the product table, you want to sort the product by price. How can we do? So I said my habit is I like to do from first. So let's say from, and then what table I just said? I said product table, right? Products. Okay, and you have to be careful. The name have to match the name of the table. Okay, so from products, and what column I want to select? I want to select all columns. Okay, so I do start, and then I want to order by price. Okay, and then what do I need to put in the end? Semicolon. Okay, when I run it, so this is the product table, and every column here, and then order by price. And then the default of the ordering of the number is ascending. See, from the smallest number to the biggest number. But what if I want it ordered descending? Then you can put DEST in the end. Okay, you run. See, the price will start from the biggest to the smallest. Okay. Oh, and I forget to explain how the simulation will work. Okay, so you type your query here, and you press run SQL, and then it will show the table, and or you can say result on the bottom. Okay, so if you're able to finish this part, please show off your hands. I'm afraid I'm going too fast. Okay, nice. Okay, good. Okay, let's go back to the slide. Okay, now what if you want to filter the rows? Then we can use the where clause here. We specify the condition. Okay, so let's say in the customer table, you only want to select customer who are from Mexico. Okay, so let's try in the simulation. Okay, so I said from the customer table. So from customers, and then I want to specify the condition. Where country equals Mexico. Okay. And then what column I want to select? I just select everything first. Okay, and then in the end, remember semicolon. Okay, let's run. Okay, so in the customer table, let's look at the original customer table. Okay, so customer table, this is the original customer table. We have 91 records here, and then they're all from different country. But my goal is to only keep the people who is from Mexico. So this is the query we just wrote, and then we run it, and see, we only keep the people who are from Mexico. Okay. And then next, so sometimes there is more than one condition we want to specify. What can we do? So we are going to talk about more about how to put multiple condition in the where clauses. There are operators called and or. They are used to filter records based on more than one condition. And they're slightly different. So when you use or to combine the condition, which means it will display the records if any of the condition are true. And when you use and to combine the condition, which means it will display records if all of the condition are true. Okay. And then there's another operator called not, which is used to give you the opposite result. So let's try on the previous sample. Okay. So let's say I don't want the table contain the people who are from Mexico. So what can I do? I just do here not. Okay. Just filter out the people who are from Mexico. Okay. Oh, someone raised the hand. Oh, okay. Okay, and then next, after some basic practice, I'm going to give you guys some more practice. Before the practice, I want to introduce the database first. You have to understand the relationship between each table so that you will know how to retrieve the data. Okay, because sometimes you write down the condition, but you have to know the relationship between two table, then you know how to write. And the database we're going to practice on called a Northwind database is the one we just used. And it's a commonly used example database. It was originally created by Microsoft. And there are 8 tables in the database. And you have customer table, you have information about the company's customer, you have employees table, you have all the details about the employees, and then you have the order table. It has the records of customer orders, including order dates, associate customer, and employees information. And then you have the order details. It contains the information about the products ordered in each order, including the quantity and unit price. And then in the product table, it has the information about the products, the company itself. And in the table, we can find corresponding categories and suppliers. And then in the categories table, you can see the categories of every product and which is not in the product table. So if you want to know this product is belong in which categories, then you have to check this table. So that's why I told you that you have to know the relationship between them. Okay. And then the supplier, it has the information of supplier, and then the shipper here. Okay, let's take a look in the simulation. So let's see products. Okay. So because you can't contain too much information in one table, so that's why we need different tables. So for example, in this products table, you see the product's name, but for the category, you only see the number. So if I want to know this product is belong which category, I have to go to the category table to check. Oh, so category 1 is beverage. Okay, so which means this product is beverage. Okay, so you have to understand the relationship, and later on you will be able to write the query. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to give you guys some questions to practice. So the first one is select all records from customer table and sort result by alphabet. I think this is the most simple one, and we practiced before, so I want you guys to try on your own. And then next is I want you to retrieve a list of products from products table. Okay, so from products. Okay, and what is the condition? That are both in the beverage category. So which means in the category, the column, the ID will be 1. If it's 1, means it's beverage, right? And have a unit price greater than 20. So you just do unit price and then you do the greater operator and 20, okay? And then the third thing is the same from number 2. Okay, so I give you guys 3 minutes to practice, and if you have any question, you can just turn on your mic and talk to me. Yeah. If you think you're able to finish this, please raise your hand. Let me see. Or if you want me to just directly go through this with you guys. Okay, if you want to practice on your own, please show your hand. Okay. 2 people. Okay, 3. Okay. If you think this is too hard, you want me to just go through right now, please raise your hand. Let me see the ratio. So okay, it's like even. Okay, I will still give you guys 2 more minutes and try yourself, and then I will explain. I will guide you through this later. Or just play with the simulation. Yeah. You can just check on those columns name, then you understand the relationship between them. Okay, okay, 1 more minute.
Can you show the questions again?
Oh, question, sorry. And then I know the practice time is not enough for lots of the beginners. So we will upload this video to our CCIDM YouTube channel, and then you guys can go and then pause the video or review. Okay, I will send you guys the link. Ethan, can you help me to send the YouTube channel link into the chat? Then you guys can subscribe and then follow up. There are lots of other tutorial as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I see someone asked the question. In a minute. Okay, let's take a look. So for the first one, you just simply select everything from customer and order by city. Should be not too hard. And then the second one is, okay, let's do it in the simulation. So from products, and then what is our condition? We want the beverage only, right? So the category ID equals 1. And the unit price. Okay. Let me copy and let's look at the product. So the price here equals greater than 20, right? Okay, so the price greater than 20. Okay. And then let's select everything first. Select every column. Okay. Oh, sorry, typo. Okay, so there are 2 beverage in the products table, and only 2 prices is greater than 20. Okay. Sorry, the typo is here. It's price. It's not unit price. Okay. And then the third one, you want to retrieve a order from a list of order from order table, which placed by customer in the USA. So you want to put the condition, which is country equals USA, or have a freight cost greater than 100. So you do or freight greater 100. Okay, let's try it in the simulation. So let's take a look at order first. Oh, sorry. So it's from customer, I think, because you want to know the country. Sorry, I have a issue here. So question number 3, I used the wrong example. So let's skip number 3. Sorry. I will revise the PowerPoint later on. Okay, next, I believe you have a basic understanding of the statement structure. Now, next, we're going to introduce joining. A joining clause is used to combine 2 or more tables together based on the related column between them. And there are some scenarios you can use in this function. One is when you are dealing CRM system, you often need to join table or retrieve the information about customer or their interaction and sales history, and then you can use joining. And then, or when you're managing an e-commerce platform, you may need to combine products, inventory, and order data to provide real-time stock availability or order processing. Then you can use joining. Or you just simply want to combine data from multiple sources, then you can use joining, okay? Now it's getting harder and complex, but we will practice in the simulation later, so you will have the clear understanding. So in joining, we have different types. As you can see, they're left, right, outer, inner. Actually, there are more, but I'm only going to cover 4 of them today. Before I explain further about the difference between 4 of them, I want to talk about what are left and right stand for. So as you can see in the syntax here, sorry, I'm not projecting. Okay, so as you can see in the syntax, this is the joining statement here, and there are a table on the left and then the table on the right. So when we say left table means the first table. And then when we talk about the right table means the second table. Okay. So you have to understand about this. Okay.
Wait, Christine, there's some people that can't see the presentation. Are you
Huh?
guys able to see it right now? Or are you guys still not able to?
Can you see the
Yeah,
presentation?
we can see it now. It was
I can
earlier.
see the
It's just on a
join
different
page.
screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I didn't notice that I'm still at the simulation part. Okay. Okay, so when you use the left join, it will return all the record from the left table, means it will return everything on the table 1, and then it will also show the matched records from the right table, from the table 2, okay? And then if you use right join, it will return all the records from the right table, which is table 2, and then it will also show the matched record from the left table, which is table 1. Is that too complex? Okay. When you use the outer join, it will return all records when it's a match in either left or right table. So as you can see, it will return table 1 and table 2, and everything may match. Okay. And then in the inner join table, it will only show the records that have matching value in both table here. But you might want to know, what if there's nothing match? So for the left and right joining, it will still return all the records from its own table. So let's say, oh, this is the left table, right? And there's no matches, okay? But it will still return everything in the table 1. And it's the same for the right join. It will return everything for table 2, even there's no matches. And then for the outer join, it will return everything on both table. And in the inner join, if there's no matches, then it won't display anything. Okay. So now you know the concept of 4 of them. Let's look into the syntax. Okay. So you do from, and then table 1 and table 2, you want to combine those tables together. And then how do you want to combine them? So you just do the joining statement here. So you can choose you want to do left or right or inner or outer. You combine those two. And then on which condition? On when those two columns, the value in those two columns are the same, then you want to combine. You want to match them together. And then there's another thing, when I combine two tables, we want to specify the column name from one of the table, but how does the system know about the column we want from which table? So that's why we need to do table 1 and then dot the key variables, and then equals table 2 dot the key variables. We will practice in the simulation later. Okay. So let's say I want to combine customer and order table, those two together. Let's practice in the simulation. It will be easier for you to understand. So let's take a look of both table first, because I said you have to find out the relationship between them, right? So product. I'm sorry, order. Okay. So order, in the order table, you see the customer here. So you want to add those information, order ID, employee ID, order date, shipper ID in the number 90 customer. Okay, so we want to combine those together. So for me, I do from, and then we do left join, because the customer table is the main table. even there's no matches, I still want it to show. And then let's specify the condition. So customer ID here. If it's equal, I want it to show. And then in the orders table, sorry, if it's equal. And then we select the column, right? So we select everything first. Okay. Oh.
There's a typo in orders.
What? Oh, okay.
There's 2 R's in the left one.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, now you can see you combine the customer table with the order table. Okay, and it shows everything on customer table, even there's null. Okay, so what if I use right join? So if I use right join means it's going to show everything in orders table. Okay. Right join.
So I put this question in the chat, but is it kind of like using VLOOKUP on Excel of trying to find like matches between 2 sets of data?
Oh, yes, but
Okay,
if you use VLOOK, it's just look up for you. They won't combine together.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So if you use right join, thank you. If you use right join, we'll keep everything for order ID here. And it won't keep those NA customer ID. Okay.
So it's basically just this logic is just taking 2 separate tables of data, merging them and matching it to the right people or right like
Yes.
in
Yes.
customers. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys can practice about the inner and outer. Okay. I'm going to, because I'm running out of time, I'm going to keep going. So let's take a look. Let's practice one. So if I say I want to retrieve a list of all employees and their corresponding orders, include employees who have not placed any order, what can I do? Okay, sorry, I don't have time to let you guys practice. So let's look at here. So which table I want to use? Employee tables, right? So I do from employees, and then why I use left join here? Because I want to keep everything in employees table, because it says include employees who have not placed any orders. So that's why I do left join. So employees left join orders. So I combine those 2 table and with left join function. And what is the condition? Employees ID are matched, right? Okay, so okay, I'm not going to show you guys in the simulation because we are running out of time. So you can go to our YouTube channel and then type it in your simulation, and then you will see the result. I highly recommend that you guys try to type it yourself. Okay. And next one is group by. So group by is useful when you want to summarize data and calculate aggregate values such as sum, average, count, maximum or minimum for specific categories or groups within the data set. Then you can use group by. Okay, for example, you might want to calculate the total sales per product category, the average salary per department, or the number of orders per customer, right? And then you can use group by. And then when you are creating reports, grouping allows you to organize data in a structured way. For instance, you can group sales data by month, quarter, or year to create sales report over time. Or when you want to analyze trend, grouping can help you to identify trend and pattern in data, like customer behavior pattern or products popularity over time. So let's look at the syntax. So the group by statement group rows that you have the same value into summary rows. For example, if you want to find the number of customer in each country, then you can use group by. But like you want it often used with aggregate functions such as count, max, min, sum, average to group the results set by one or more columns. So how are we going to use those aggregation function? You just put the aggregation function in front of the column name you want to calculate. So the subject is find the number of customer in each country, right? So that's why I do from customer and then select country column. And I want to count how many numbers of customer in each country, right? So I want to count customer ID. Okay, so that's why I put it in the parenthesis and then put the function in the front count and then group by country. Okay, so let's see in the simulation. Okay, so let's take a look in the customer table. Okay, so I want to know like Germany, how many people is from Germany, how many people is from Mexico, how many people is from UK. So in this scenario, you can use group by. So let's do sorry, my computer freeze. Okay. Customers, okay, and then group by country. Okay, and then I want to select column. Select column. What column do I want? I only want country, right? Country and the count for the aggregation function. Customer ID. Okay, see. Okay, now you can see there are totally only 21 countries, and then it's a count for your customer. And you can also change the name if you want. See, the column name change, okay? And then, okay, next one is more advanced. We don't have time to deal with this. Again, you can find the video on our YouTube video. You can practice on it, and those are two practice. Let's practice one. So let's say you want to retrieve a count of products in each categories from products table along with the category's name. So let's break down which two tables do we need. So we need to know which categories the products belong. So we need the categories table. And then we also need to count the product from the product table. So that's why I do categories. That's why I combine categories and products table together. And then why I use left join here, because I want to keep every category's name there, even there's no product match. Okay, that's why I do left join. And then I want to group by what? I want to group by category's name. Okay, so remember why I use dot here? Because the system need to know which table you are talking about. Okay, so that's why I do categories dot category's name. Okay, and then the condition is when the category's ID is equal. Okay, and then I select the category's name and then the count of the product, and then S product count is just I change the name of the column, the count column. Okay. Okay, 2 minutes left. here, so you might think about lots of function in SQL that looks similar in R and Python, or even someone just mentioned about Excel. But so why we need to learn SQL? Because SQL is the only program that we can retrieve the data from the database. So that's why. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about the AI tools I have been using. The one I've been using is called AI to SQL. Within this tool, you can either choose that you add the table manually, or you can just upload a CSV file here. Yeah, and then you just click on this, and then you just add the table here. And this is the way you manually add table. You enter the table name and then the column name here. So the system will the AI will understand the relationship between those table. Okay. And then after you input those information, you just write the prompt here, and then it will show the query here. So you just copy and paste into your SQL. Okay. And then next is the data visualization. So there are two mainstream tool. One is Power BI, one is Tableau. I personally like Power BI more because I think the interface is more intuitive. Okay, so you can connect your SQL server here, and then you do the visualization. Click here, and then there's lots of things you can choose. And then this is Tableau, and you connect your SQL server. And then you can specify the variables, and then you choose the pattern or the graphic here. Okay, summary. So yeah, I know today's workshop is a little bit fast. So you really need to practice and type down everything in the simulation, and then you will have more clear understanding about everything. Okay. And then these are the platform I have been using. This one, W3 Schools, is the simulation I use. And then there's another platform. They will list out every function in SQL, and then they even provide lots of small practice within every function. So you can use that to practice to build the foundation. And then those two, my friends use those for preparing their interview. So if you want to get a data scientist job, you can use those two to practice. And then the last thing is, if you're a Cal Poly Pomona student, I highly recommend that you can log in the LinkedIn Learning, because it's free for student, and then earn your certificate, and then you can show it on your profile. Okay, thank you. This is today's workshop, and I hope it's helpful for you guys. And again, I know I didn't cover everything in the slide I prepared, but you can still look at the video and pause and do your own practice.